Yes, my name is Coach Pete Gareri Jr., and I'm the athletic coordinator at Baytown Sterling High School in the Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District. I'm also the head football coach here. For the participating video, I've decided to do option one, which is an interview of a cross-section of staff and faculty members regarding their perspective of the campus vision and how the campus vision impacts morale. For this introduction, I'm going to be introducing the people that we interviewed. We, because the assistant athletic director, assistant athletic coordinator on campus here, Greg Smith, he was also in the interview process with myself. We actually interviewed two different people, both considered assistant principals over different disciplines here at the school. The first one we interviewed was the CTE specialist, which is Career Technology Education Specialist, Michelle Duhan. Michelle Duhan actually has gone through the Lamar University Master's Program and Principal Certification Program as well. The second interview was with Mr. Michael Curl. Michael Curl is the assistant principal for seniors. He's actually also the assistant head principal as well for this campus. Really thought highly regarded at this school as well. What we did was we went through interview questions talking about morale with the campus vision and how it affects morale, and actually just brainstormed and went back and forth with different participation subjects going through the interview questions. The questions that we asked were, how does the campus recognize and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision? How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community? How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? And how does the campus vision impact morale? As we went through these questions, a lot of the answers were pretty much the same for all three of us, but we did have different opinions. So again, perception as to what I see as the athletic coordinator of this campus and head football coach for morale and campus vision, as well as the CTE specialist, Michelle Duhan, had her own opinion about the campus vision and how it's promoted and how the leadership of the campus promotes it, as well as my assistant athletic coordinator, who's also the head basketball coach here, Greg Smith, and is one of the teachers in the CTE department. So he had his own opinions too about how the vision is being promoted here on campus, as well as from the morale standpoint. The morale and climate and culture of our campus is going in the right direction. It's becoming positive, and I believe it is because of the leadership of our head principal. With this being said, though, the campus vision still needs to be looked at. It still needs to be promoted all of the time by our leadership, which is our administrators here on campus, as well as by the teachers also. And the teachers need to understand what that campus vision is. So I believe after these interviews, there's a lot of understanding that came from these, and there's some opinions as to how we can get better and make sure that this campus goes in the right direction.
All right, here we are doing our option one participating video. We're here with Mrs. Duhan. She's our CTE specialist, content specialist, and Health Science Academy leader on our campus. We're also here with Coach Gareri, our campus athletic director and head football coach. So we're going to talk about and participate in this cross-section of staff and faculty members regarding our perspectives on the campus vision in certain areas. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and I think we're going to ask Ms. Duhan the first question, about how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of our campus vision?
Okay, well, first of all, this should be part of your school culture. It should be something that's done on a regular basis, whether it's through email, through meetings. If you don't recognize your teachers, you don't let them know that they're doing a good job, that they're on the right track, they're going to become stagnant. Morale is going to plummet, and you will not reach your goals.
What do you think our current morale is on our campus?
Honestly, I think it's pretty low.
I agree.
I agree too.
I personally think the reason being the scheduling right now.
Scheduling, the teachers are just, they're not, it's not that they're being defiant, but they're just not happy with some of the things that's going on. Now, is that leadership? Or is that administration?
I think it's twofold. I think the schedule is what it is. That, you know, the teachers really liked the schedule last year, but we can't do that. So that's one of those things you just have to get over and move on. The other thing, I think it comes back to that question about recognizing your teachers when they're doing a good job, when they're doing what you want them to do and they're excelling with it. You've got to do those pats on the back. You got to let them know, hey, you're doing a good job. I appreciate your time, your effort. I witnessed a teacher respond to an email where the principal sent out an email saying, hey, we appreciate all you're doing, that we know you're working hard. She lit up. I mean,
Sure.
She was just, oh my God, Mr. Foxworth just sent us this awesome email about, you know, we're doing a good job. He appreciates us. That was like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been, you know, that's something that has to be done. And I know everyone's under a lot of pressure, and, you know, we're just doing everything we can to keep our head above water. But we have to remember the teachers are on that firing line.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have to support them and do the little things. You know, give them a Gene Day here and there. Give them something to boost that morale.
Right.
And then they'll do everything for you.
And as much as we hear about negativity from parents and students and phone calls we receive, that we need a lot of positive things happening with our teachers and administration. I also believe that a huge part is that because we're a multi-school district, we just can't do what we want to do. Even though we want to be site-based, the other two high schools have an input also. So with the schedule, I believe that if we were the only school, a one-school horse town, that it'd be completely different as to our schedule. But because we're a multi-school different, the other high schools have say-sos too. So therefore,
I think that's been our
administration is
biggest
involved.
problem, because earlier on, I think we were the only school that accepted the new schedule.
Correct.
And now that it keeps getting worse and worse, now we're starting to fall down that same pipeline and get just negative as the other two schools.
Right. The other two schools are talking, you know, the teachers are talking and they're getting with other teachers, and now that's kind of coming over here, their culture and their morale that was low at the beginning of the year and ours was high, I think is now kind of transpiring over to our school too.
Going back to the recognition part real quick, the only two things I can think of on our campus that actually recognizes our teachers is the STARS Teacher of the Week from our dance team and Teacher of the Year at the end of the year. Is there anything else we have?
No. I have been in districts that we did, and I know GCM does this, and I stole it from them and brought it to my last district, and it was a pats on the back, and it was administrators or other teachers recognizing their peers for doing good things or going above and beyond, and that went a long way. I know my husband came home several times, and it was like a school kid. Hey, I got the certificate. I was recognized at admin, and you know him.
Yeah.
You know, just to see him light up that he was appreciated for doing something went a long way, and it wasn't much more than a candy bar and a certificate saying, hey, we recognize that you're doing a good job.
Well, even so, you know how as teachers, you like something in your box. I mean, when you get a little candy in your box, when you get a certificate for a luncheon or a Jeans Day or whatever it may be in your box, I mean, it's a pretty neat gift no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I have been in districts too where you receive something at least once every other week or once a month. There's something, or even Christmas bonuses. There's something going on.
Right.
For appreciation.
And it's those little things. And I know sometimes it's some people are just naturally nurturing, and they're really good at recognizing accomplishments and just being appreciative. Not everyone has that, and I think that sometimes it's just everybody do your job, just do your job, and we'll all get there. But that's going to kill morale.
It's a long year.
It makes a long year.
It's a long year.
You should do your job
mentality
anyway, but you need the pat on the back.
Yeah.
You do. You need to be recognized, and that's everybody, not just the same people each time.
Right.
Or, that's the other issue too. A lot of times, we as educators or administrative people recognize the teachers that are doing a great job. Well, that may be because they're AP classes and they handpick their kids, or whatever it might be. Their STAR scores are real high. Well, it could be because of the clientele in their classroom too.
But that's why you need to go back, even if you have to go back as far as even looking at data And I know
Right.
the teachers hate looking at data, but if we, if we're comparing, if we did a CBA and we're looking at how we performed, it's not just that score. If you break it down to individual
Right.
questions and said, hey, Miss Jones, you did an excellent job on teaching
Right.
this. What did you do? Because the rest of us sucked at it.
Right.
What did you do that was so good? She may not be strong everywhere else, but she rocked that out.
Right.
So let her share, let her shine a
And
little
that's
bit.
where the department heads need to also recognize that and see that, and during the PLC meetings and all that's collaboration is going on, that each teacher's with data is
Right.
doing that too.
And recognizing that, not every teacher is strong at everything.
Right.
And really playing on each other's strengths.
Right. Okay, second question. How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community? I think we're hitting on everything. as
We
go
are.
through it.
Sadly, we don't have the faculty meetings that we
Right.
did in the past. With PLCs, everybody really just goes to their area, and there's not one big gathering like we've had in
Right.
the past. But it could be done. We could work that in.
Right.
But we do need to recognize during parent meetings. We have a parent meeting coming up in January. We need to say, hey, these are some great things that we're doing at our school. These are our strengths. We need to look at our district communication. We've got the website where we can call in our media people, and they can post it on the newsletter, the news of the day. We can contact the Baytown Sun. We can get some information out that way too.
Right. I was when we talk about the faculty meetings, being the athletic director here, I've lost touch with the entire staff. I've had to go to department
Mm-hmm.
meetings to give my speech about grade checks and eligibility, credits, this and
Yeah.
that, or by email because we haven't had a faculty meeting. Well, that's the time where I like to stand up in front of everybody
Right.
to show, what I'm here for, what the coaches are here for, how we can help. I haven't had that opportunity.
No.
And
And
so
it would
that's
be
tough.
nice if we could set aside. I know it's PLC, and we want to
Right.
respect that this is their planning time. But if we set aside 15 minutes,
Exactly
and say
what I
let's all
said.
get together and
That was the
First
concept
15
of
minutes.
PLC when it first came out. I don't know how many years ago everybody started giving PLC time that was incorporated into the school day, as opposed to having it after school. So then everybody was so happy, okay, we don't have to stay for after school meetings, but now they get mad when they take away the 10, 15 minutes. Oh, well, we have to have this time. You really,
well, and I think what that came down to is last year or in the past we've had it every week,
right.
and so
Mm-hmm.
we've had more time, and now it's just that
We got
hour and a
spoiled.
half twice a month,
Right.
and so I think that has made a huge
I
difference.
still think it's a great deal.
I think it's wonderful to have it during the school day. You're not having to meet after school once a week or once a month or once every 2 weeks. The issue is the instructional minutes. Because
Right.
of the instructional minutes, now you have to have so many minutes for PLC time. And I know that the administration, the higher-ups, want to make sure that, it's PLC time. It's not a mandated faculty meeting because that
Right.
cuts into the PLC time. But I completely agree that we still could start off our PLC with a 15 or 20-minute faculty meeting, and then break off and go to our
Right.
groups.
Because and keeping in mind, the core is so different than everyone else. This is when they're planning. This is when they're doing their common assessments, and that's been new. So they're having to plan those assessments out in advance so they can plan their instruction. So if they're only meeting twice a month, and they have a common planning period, but again, that takes up their
Right.
conference time.
Right.
And so I understand their frustrations.
So when we talk about communication on that question, it's pretty much the leadership of the campus having to go to individual meetings, department
Right.
meetings. Number one, for the principal to convey his message to the department heads. Then the department heads have to convey their message to the teachers under them, rather than us doing it in a whole setting.
Right.
And,
And a lot gets lost in translation.
Exactly right.
And so, I admire a leader that can handle things through email.
Mhm.
Nothing's worse than
Through
going to
email.
a meeting that could have been handled by an
Agreed.
email
Don't meet to meet.
or to plan the next meeting.
Right.
Be respectful of everyone's time, but also sometimes you need to come together for that team building.
Mhm.
Last year when we started, or was it last year or the year before, the Minute to Win It, You know,
Right.
it was just a team building where
Sure.
we came together as a group, as a faculty to bond and to laugh together
And laugh at a certain soccer coach that was up there.
That's right. Camaraderie.
That's it.
You know,
And that goes
becoming
a
a
long
family.
way.
Becoming a family, and that's exactly right. You know, patting each other on the back, having each other's backs.
And knowing who we are.
Right.
No, you know, just
Right.
like you said, you
There-
don't get to see everyone.
I don't get to see everyone. I'm still meeting new teachers this year when I'm by email, and that's not good enough because we need, you know, communication in person.
I agree.
I think considering the topic here, some of that should probably be in that mission statement or in that campus vision as well then.
Mm-hmm.
Considering all this conversation stems from what is our campus vision, which we really don't know.
Right. Right. And, you know, the vision that was communicated to us at the beginning dealt with student success.
College ready.
And getting college ready.
And that's what I thought our vision was
Right.
until we pulled this up. The coach pulled it up on the mission statement, which doesn't have one word about college ready.
Doesn't talk
Right.
about college readiness.
Uh-uh.
Talks about making productive citizens, which I understand too,
Right.
but still college readiness.
And are all these meetings what needs to happen for that vision to occur?
You know, and I think in all this, the master's program and everything that we're doing and everything that you've done, it's all about effective communication. Everything I've written
Exactly.
about in all my papers and all these things comes back to communication. You know, collaboration, communication, you know, making sure people understand. And so if you don't have that, it's, there's going to be a, you
There's a
know, something
breakdown.
wrong in the chain. There's going to be a
Yeah.
breakdown, correct.
So I think the next question is, how does our campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience in order to promote our campus vision?
Okay, well, you know the definition of insanity, about doing the same thing over and over again
Right.
and expecting a different result. I think we've done that quite a bit
I
in the
agree.
past. This year, we've taken some steps that I think were pretty innovative. We're the only campus right now has implemented an instructional coach, a literacy coach. We've recognized that language arts is our low area with STAR. And so we've taken a teacher who was very successful in working with the STAR students, the ones that needed the remediation. She had great success, and we've made her our literacy coach. So she's working with all levels.
I didn't even know we were doing that.
Yes, we
It's all-
are, Miss Clement.
Huh.
Yep.
She is out of the classroom.
I knew she wasn't in the classroom, and
And
honestly, I never knew why.
she works with teachers. She helps them with new ideas. And a lot of it is bonding with the students, having that connection with the students. And she's very good at that.
The
You
relationship.
know, sometimes the teachers are a little resistant because they think that they've done a good job. And for the most part, they have.
Mhm.
But it's recognizing I've got areas that I need to work
Sure.
on, and she has something to offer. And also understanding, no, we're not sending her in to say she knows all, but she knows a lot.
Right.
And using her as a peer, like a peer tutor you would with a student. You know, let her go in and model some good best practices for the teachers. We're also doing something that the other campuses aren't doing in our district, and that we've got a co-teaching model.
Right. That's
The
very
other-
important here.
The other two campuses have decided to let those EOC course teachers have 2 conference periods so they can get additional PLC, they can
Right.
get additional
Oh, wow.
planning. We've decided to take that period away, and we've got a co-teaching model.
Co-teachers.
So you've got 2 teachers in a classroom of struggling students, and it's a work in progress, because you don't want one teacher teaching and one just walking around, managing behavior, or that other one sitting in the back on the phone or grading papers or running errands. It's got to be, I'm teaching, then you're playing off what I'm saying, and this back and
Got to be
forth.
collaboration.
So they don't know who the real teacher is.
Right.
It should be that I've just got 2 people in the room and I can ask either one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I'm the boss in here and you're just my helper. So we're working, and we're using that as a professional development model. So we've got new teachers or new to high school teachers that we're pairing up with some more experienced teachers that have good strategies. And rather than going outside and missing instructional time, we're using our strengths. We're using our talents in-house to where the teachers can get that professional development. We're using it just lost my train of thought. Anyway, they're able to model and learn some good strategies from their co-teachers, and
Right.
we're able to, and that gives some recognition, because I loved how Ms. Clement went into one teacher and said, "You did a really good job with this," and that teacher was expecting her to offer a suggestion, but it was just, "You did a great job. Can you share this with the other teachers?"
Right.
And that did a lot about with the relationship building with the teachers, as well as helping that teacher become a leader.
Yeah.
My wife's the instructional coach for science in Clear Creek ISD for two junior highs. Now, CCISD is a huge school district, but they started the instructional coaching. And her, like you said, her biggest beef is that some teachers aren't responsive to getting new ideas.
Right.
And again, she was put into this position because she did a very good job in her classroom setting in biology. But all of it's data driven.
Exactly.
And ELA is low scoring, probably across the state in most schools anyway, but we are low here, so there has to be better ways to do things. And teachers, we've got to get over the hump and past the issue that we're already doing it right. Well, not with our data. There's
Exactly.
something that can be done better. And by pulling a teacher that's done very well here, I'm sure her scores were out of this world, and now putting her in a position to help other teachers.
That's right.
And it's not that they're telling you how to do it. It's, hey, let's come up with new ways. Like you said before, you may be good at this on this TEKS, but this other teacher does it real well on this part of the TEKS. So why can't we, cross-reference and figure out the best way to do it all?
And we've even tried reaching out to other districts. Hey, you did well, with ELAs. What's your secret? Sometimes the teachers are like, well, it's their clientele.
Right.
They just got better students. And I always ask them, or do they have better strategies?
Correct.
They may have good students, but maybe they're doing something that we're not.
Right.
And so it's worth that conversation. It's worth that school visit,
Right.
even to go see what they're doing.
Right.
Now, if they're doing the same things we're doing and they're getting better results, sometimes it is.
Sometimes it
The
is.
clientele.
But either way, whether it is or not, you still have to try and find new
we
ways.
have what we
right.
have.
Exactly. That's exactly
And
right.
so that's not changing. So
No.
we've got to figure out a way
Right.
to pull them along.
Right. Anything else? Yeah, the next question is, how does the campus vision impact morale? I think we've talked about that a little bit
We
anyway.
have talked about that. I think we've got to come up with, and I can't read my notes, a reward system for reaching milestones. We need to set some goals, and I think we're lacking a little bit there.
Right.
Set some attainable goals that we can reach in a short period of time. And if we attain those goals, whether it's your students scoring so well on a particular assessment or attendance, throw those bones out to the teachers, whether it's a gene day or the socials after school. I know I've heard
Right.
our administrators comment that, the morale is much better when we're having our Coke float day or the ice
Right.
cream sundaes. Throw those little things out there. I know there's another school in our district right now, they're doing 12 days of Christmas, and they're allowing their teachers to dress up, wear jeans, wear slippers, different things through the next couple of weeks. And I witnessed this just yesterday. It was interesting that we're talking about this. Teacher usually complains about her principal, and she said, "I'm going to say something nice about my principal today." And I'm like, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, we're doing this 12 days of Christmas, and we get to wear jeans every day as long as we wear the assigned color, and we're going to get to
Right.
wear slippers one day." And this teacher, typically in the afternoons when I talk to her, is downtrodden and feeling beat up, even though she's a very good teacher. But really appreciated the fact that they were recognizing, hey, you've worked hard. Let me do something for you.
Right. The morale and the climate and culture of a campus and of a group or program or athletics or whatever it is so important.
And send out those emails. How long does it take to type out an email?
Right.
Hey, y'all are doing a good job. Appreciate, I noticed your scores.
Right.
That y'all really did well in this area.
Right.
Let them know that you're looking.
Right.
And that you're that you notice what they do.
I think that also can be done by the administration too. I think the administration doesn't take the time and effort to commend the schools as to what they're doing well. not just from our
Right.
head principal and assistant,
Right.
but from our superintendent. And I think that, and I know they try and get around and this and that, but there's a lot of things that we do that's very, very good for our kids. But we need to hear it. We need to see it.
We do.
Almost everything in the newspaper now is negative. And so there needs to be positives, whether it's a teacher doing this or our one of our kids groups doing this or that, or in the community, or I know like Coach Smith for basketball, takes a street and y'all do trash pickup, things like that. That needs to be promoted.
Absolutely.
Because that is about morale and culture and climate of the campus too. That
and part
it's
of
important.
it's us. We've got to
Right.
contact the right people, but do you know to contact the right
Right.
people?
Right.
You can call when you're picking up trash, Passmore, and they'll
Mhm.
send a photographer out, and
Right.
they'll do a little article, and it's just, but those types of things need to be communicated to
Right.
the teachers so they know, you've got to self-promote.
Right. And I think it also needs to be everyone, 100%. If one teacher's left out, I don't think that's good. I think somehow we all need to be recognized in some way or patted on the back somehow, because we're all in this together.
There's a couple of them need to go home anyway. I
And
mean,
there's-
I'm
and
not
that's
gonna
true too.
disagree.
I'm
with
not
that.
sure I agree with patting every last one of
No,
them. There's
but-
some that don't need to be patted 'cause they need to go somewhere else.
Right. This
But
profession's
then,
hard
but
enough.
then take care of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Don't let someone just exist and not give them another thought. Go take care of it. If they need to go home, then encourage that.
Right. The bottom line is
Mandate it.
we're here for the kids.
That's
And I think
exactly
some
right.
of the professionals in our career have forgotten that we're here
Right.
for these kids.
And
But-
if they're hurting kids, and I don't mean physically,
right,
if they're hurting them by not giving them the education that they need, they're not building them up,
right,
they're negative with the kids all the time, then we need to do something
Right.
about that, because you'll never reach or attain your mission or your vision
no,
if you've got that poison. And
it's right. It is.
It
It's poison
is.
or cancer. You're exactly right. And it's about building relationships. But like we've talked about, the relationships still need to be built from administration and the leadership of campus down to the teachers too. Because we need to feel that we're doing the right job
Well,
too.
you've got to model what you expect them to do. It's just like teaching your kids.
Right. True.
Good deal.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Time.
Perfect. Here we are with Mr. Curl. Mr. Curl is our senior assistant principal on campus. Very well respected on campus. Does a great job. We're also here with Coach Gareri, again, our athletic director and head football coach on campus. This is for our video participation. Option number 1, interviewing the cross-section of staff and faculty members regarding perspective on campus vision. We had already talked in our previous video a little bit about our campus vision and college ready, as opposed to what it states online in our mission statement, which we'll probably talk about here in this video a little more so than our last one. We are going to ask Mr. Curl a couple questions and talk about them. Our first one is going to be, how does our campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement our strategies that support our campus vision on our campus?
Let me start off by saying I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you thinking enough to come and ask me these questions, and I'm glad to help. As far as our acknowledgement and recognition of our campus vision, I believe our professional learning community time that we have on campus allows us time to celebrate and progress towards the vision. This is a purely collaborative time that we have set up for our teachers and staff. We meet by team or departments. We invite people from campus, people from off campus, administrators from around the district to come out and share in the successes and our areas of focus, so they can have a good vision of what we're doing here at Sterling High School to provide any feedback that they may have from an outside perspective to help develop our mission and our vision.
Is the vision, here's my question for you, is the vision being promoted, because we really don't have faculty meetings, that's what we talked about with Ms. Duhan, is it being promoted by the administrators to the department heads, and then the department heads are promoting that vision during the PLC meetings? I mean, our vision of college readiness and things like that, is that truly being pushed and promoted, throughout the school year?
I believe it is. Our big thing this year, of course, has been the college ready and getting the 12 college hours for the kids to come in. We have those things verbalized specifically during the few faculty meetings that we have had.
Right.
And when the content specialists meet with the administration, that's one of the things that we constantly talk about. You know, we've got our three big things for the whole campus: being collaborative, being goal focused, and being adaptable. And the next thing is these kids having these 12 hours and being college ready and getting out of here with some college hours. And that mission goes out to the campus whenever we get together. We always try to verbalize that. We've verbalized it to the content specialists, who in turn take that back to PLC meetings. In some areas, like science, I do a good portion of leading those meetings when it comes to the PLC time. So I always make sure that we hit those three main focuses that we have from our building principal and our vision of the college readiness, and making sure that everyone knows that this is something we want to talk about. We want to discuss this. We don't want kids running around saying, you know, I didn't know I could get college hours being here at Sterling High School. We want to say it enough times to where it just becomes ingrained in the culture here.
Do you feel like it is ingrained?
I feel like it's on its way.
Okay.
You know, I think that the people who are already on board with getting these kids college ready and making sure they take advantage of dual credit and take advantage of AP testing, that way they can get college credit, I think they're pushing it a little more. I think that now that it's been presented to the entire campus as something that we all want to do, I feel like we're picking up more people who are talking about it who may not have said it before. Right. They may have been sitting in a classroom of kids who they didn't, you know, they may not believe that they're ever going to take AP, or they normally weren't going to take dual credit. They originally thought these two groups were synonymous, that they were the same kids, but they're not. You know, these kids who can take this dual credit, if they pass the class, they get the college credit. Mm-hmm. It's not sitting in a class working hard and doing a lot of these things, and then at the end you take a test, and that test decides whether you get that credit or not. Now regular teachers are seeing that, you know what, they can just take the college class. Right. And as they're going along, if they pass it, they're going to get college credit. They're getting the credit for it. So I think that it's getting more out there, and as more and more teachers talk about it, then more and more are going to pick up on it as well.
Gotcha.
I agree.
Okay, second question. How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community?
We share these things through campus newsletters, department newsletters, and information on our website. You know, we'll have a corner on the website to talk about the different things that are coming up and the different things that are going on. Where we have the campus improvement plan online, we always want to make sure we've got something on there to kind of show how we're progressing on that. If something comes up, or if we just had a big testing deal with TSI testing, which is, you know, one of the tests the kids take before they can enroll at Lee College to take those dual credit courses, we'll have that online. And that's one of the things to say, well, you know, show the community that we've got these things posted, we're testing the kids, we're giving them the TSI test on campus, so that now they can still be on campus to get those dual credit classes. We're removing one more hurdle from them, so that they don't have to go out on their own, go take this TSI test at Lee College. They can take it here on campus, on our time, and we can make sure that it's done.
Okay. Do you think that there is a disconnect between teachers, administrators, and parents? Do you think this is truly being communicated as to what we're doing good on campus, you know, dual credit? I mean, I'm sure there is a disconnect at different, you know, areas.
Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect. We can do what we can do to try to get it out there. I think that we could probably do a better job on presenting the information to the parents on how to access the school, how to access the website, how to access these things. I think that on our side, we do a great job as a district making sure that we have parent portal set up, that we have websites set up, that we have real-time grading that can go on, that a parent can go on right now, and if I put in a grade now and they log in 30 seconds after me, they will see the exact grade that kid has. I think on our end, we do a good job of making sure these things are available and presenting these things. You know, we present the board meeting agenda. It's always online. Right. But the thing I feel we can do better is getting out into the community and telling them, here's some things that are available to you. Right. You know, I have seniors this year, and I still have parents that I have the same conversation about, hey, have you ever been on the parent portal? Do you know that you can check his attendance every day? Do you know that you can get a reminder if he's marked tardy? You can get an email if he's marked absent. You can get a text message if he's late. You can get a text message if his grade goes below 70. I'm still doing that right now, December of their senior year, and there's still parents who are like, I didn't know that.
So we're communicating it. We have the system in place. It's just the parent involvement needs to probably increase more than us getting it to them. They need to come to us a
It's a hard
little
thing to
bit.
do, especially with our clientele.
It's tough, and talking about athletics, even having booster club meetings, and even when we bring up eighth graders, this that, sometimes we don't get a lot of parents up here, and so
And
they don't hear the
sometimes,
information.
and sometimes it's just because they don't know the face.
Right,
They don't know the face, or the last face that they can remember wasn't pleasant for them.
sure,
It wasn't a great deal.
right,
A lot of these parents, the last time they talked to a principal was maybe when they got in trouble back in school,
right,
or a friend of
Right.
theirs got in trouble in school, and
Right.
they just remember that was the principal. They did that. That was what they did.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. I think they're gonna be treating my kid the same way.
right,
But I think that by getting us out there and having personalities that are welcoming, that are bringing people into the
Right.
fold and saying, here's what we have to offer, we just want to get this information to you, and communicating in more times than just when Billy gets in trouble,
right,
or when Billy needs to pay this, or when Billy needs to do this, that we can set up this communication to happen more positively and more frequently.
right. And that's building relationships. Same
It's
thing.
essentially, that's what it is.
How does our campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote our vision?
That's a
Do we?
That's one that the one part I can say is that on the failures as a learning experience, I think that for myself and the science department that I work with directly regularly, we take our failures as learning experiences. We as administrators try to do a great job of presenting information not as a failure but as opportunities for improvement. Because there's such a different conversation that happens when you say your failure rate is high versus your passing rate is low. It seems the same thing. You would think that it's the same deal, but the guard that goes up when you say your failure rate's too high or you fail too many kids versus we want to see more kids passing, we want to see more kids being successful, it just makes a difference. So failures as a learning experience, I think, is a good thing because all of our information should come from data. All of our information
Right.
should come from a lot of our decision making needs to come from what we have in place and how that worked or didn't work. Just coming up with something out of the blue with no data, sometimes it may not work, but I think you're getting a good roll of the dice to see that. I think the environment we're in 2015, there's always data on something you can pull.
So ours is terrible in reading and language arts, obviously.
Mhm.
What are some things we're doing on campus to promote that vision through that data?
Well, with English, I know one position that we have new this year is basically kind of an English coach. We've got a full-time teacher whose job essentially is to work with English 1 and English 2 teachers to make sure that the instruction that's going on in the class is going to result in better scores on the test at the end.
Gotcha.
A lot of people are going to say, well, that's just teaching the test. Well, the test is testing what's taught. It's testing the teaks. If you teach the teaks, guess what? That's what the test is going to test. So those student expectations are student expectations. If you teach them, that's what's going to be tested. So, essentially, we're always teaching to the test if the test is what's, is going over those student objectives.
Right.
So that's one big thing that we've done. It takes a lot of resources to make sure that we have an extra person on campus that their sole job is to work with the department. We don't have that anywhere else. There's not a science teacher who
Right.
doesn't have classes all day who goes and works with the biology people. We don't have that in
So it's a
social
trial
studies.
thing that we're doing just with one discipline, or was it because of the data that was so low that
Well, the data shows that we need some assistance.
because the other
there.
areas are higher, so we're just doing it in English for now.
Yes.
But it could be something we do in all four disciplines at some time.
Well,
or-
at the other disciplines, we just got different plans in place.
Okay,
So this one is for English, and so that
Okay.
for me, that's in a nutshell, that's one of the biggest things we've done with that
Sure.
English deal. That in addition
That's been
to
our lowest.
PLC, and that in addition to PLC time, making sure we kept that as a priority. When they made this Bell schedule, they had something up there as what are the non-negotiables, and of course the
Right.
state mandated time that you have to be in class was number one. Number two was PLC.
right.
So that's a decision that's made. That's an intervention that we put together to say we want to make
Gotta
sure that
give
the
them that
English
time.
teachers have time during the school day to work with each other to make sure that the instruction that's going on in the classroom is in line with the student expectations, and therefore can help raise the scores that we have. Thing we're doing in biology, which is a little different, is we've given biology teachers a second period that they're not assigned a class, but they have been assigned to co-teach with another teacher.
Okay.
And we try to use the verbiage dual teaching, because
Right.
co-teaching initially comes off as the special ed program that was in place, where you've got another teacher who comes in who may be certified
Does
in
behavior
PE,
and-
who may be certified in math, who may be certified in many different subjects, but we're going to send them into physics, and they're going to be there to help with the kids who are, special ed kids. Now, of course, they're going to help everyone, so no one's singled out, but their main job is to help those kids who
Right.
who the state and the art committee has said does need extra help in those classes for 30 minutes a week, 60 minutes a week, so on and so forth. Dual teaching is having another teacher who is certified in that content area going in and teaching that subject with another teacher. So 2 fully certified biology teachers in a classroom teaching biology.
Are they enjoying that? Is that working for them?
This had a hard time in the beginning, because good teachers aren't used to other people being in their
Differences.
classrooms,
Right.
Right. Responsive.
and they're just not used to it. They just
I
think
don't know if
that,
I don't know if I'd want to do that. Truth
Yeah.
be told.
and so in the beginning, that the knee jerk reaction was, well, what am I doing wrong? Where you have to send somebody else in.
Right.
And it took a lot of work for us to develop this deal that it's not what you're doing wrong. I give them the example of, let's say at Exxon, you're going through and you've got a really great presenter coming in, and he's top notch. He's been all over the world. He's doing this, but you only have a room that holds 50 people, but you got 100 people who you need to train. You want to let hear this
Right.
person. Do you go off and hire somebody else to, a sub for this other room, and they get those 50 people? Do they do
Right.
that there? No, they don't do that there. They find some kind of video system, and they put them in a room of 100 people that'll hold 100 people,
Right.
and he puts his video deal on, so he's on the big screen, and everybody can see him, and everybody can see the best things that we have
Gotcha.
all the time. Instead of, well, you guys just have to go over here, and who goes over there? It's just a
Right.
crapshoot of who's gonna get this. If I can put both of my best people, and once I get them, we have this conversation of what your strengths are and what your strengths are. What if we could put those things together?
Sure.
What if I know you're really, really good in objectives 1, 3, and 5, and I know last year, look at your data, you really kicked butt in 2 and 4. So let's get together and see if
Right.
we can get you to work on some of the things that you were doing for 1, and let's see if you can do some of the things that you were doing for 2, and let's see if we can put those together
Learn from
to get
each other.
just a big kick butt lesson.
Mm-hmm.
After a couple of weeks, they come back and they tell us how much they've learned from each other.
Right.
They've talked about how they're almost finishing each other's sentences.
Sure.
They talk about how something we all know as teachers, we can come in and we can talk about something till we're blue in the face. But you have one guest speaker come in, one district helping teacher come in, say the exact same thing that you think you've been talking about all week, and now all of a sudden all light bulbs are going off.
Now they
It's
get
like,
it.
oh, well,
Right.
Miss Carroll, why didn't you just say that? And
Right.
you want to hit somebody and say,
Yeah.
I've been saying that all week.
Right.
But sometimes just hearing the exact same thing from someone else,
Sure.
or their take on it, or their inflection, or their verbiage,
Their demeanor.
Just makes it
right.
different.
Their stature. Sure.
and so by them working together, they've seen that you do well on these kind of things. When it comes to numbers and it comes to making sure everybody's sitting in their rows and doing this, you do a great job. When it comes to the part where you got to get real animated to show this, how these molecules work together and show how the temperature rises and they start shaking and everything, this person doesn't like doing that.
Right.
They're not interested in that. But Mr. Kraft over here, he doesn't care. He's out there. He's animated. He's out. He's making a big deal out of it, and those kids get it.
Mm-hmm.
They get the real serious from the person who's able to sit down and do that part, and they get the part where the presenter needs to be real animated and out of their seat. They get both of those things. So, in the beginning, yes, we had some difficult conversations because people were worried that somebody's in their room because they think
Sure.
they're doing something wrong.
Just weren't receptive.
But once we establish that it's dual teaching, and we're just
Mhm.
trying to bring the best items from both people together, it's made a huge difference.
Okay. Last question. Going back to the campus vision, how does the campus vision impact morale?
And how is our morale?
And how is our morale? Right.
Well, that's a good question. I think overall, I'm going to start with the how is the morale part. I believe our morale is good, but the morale question is it's in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
You can go down one hallway and
Sure.
it's doom and gloom.
Right.
You go to
Right.
one teacher's class and it couldn't get any worse.
Right.
But you go other places and they're like, this is the best it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just overall, as a whole, I've got to take that vision. I've got to take that part and say, how is the morale overall? And overall, I think we have a very good morale.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some people in some spots who were upset, but you know what? They were upset last year. They were upset with the last administration. And, when I first got here,
Right.
they talked about what was going on before I got here. So
Right.
sometimes people are it's part of their personality, it's part of their demeanor
Mm-hmm.
to point out what could be better.
Sure.
And I feel like that's a good way to say that.
Coach
Is that
Smith
there-
said in the last interview we had that, and I was talking about everybody being pat on the back. We have to have 100%, but you're still going to have those teachers, and in a negative way that probably should not be in the profession anymore. It's
Mhm.
changed a little bit, and we'll always have those teachers everywhere.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody who feels like their job is to point out what could be better.
Right.
And those people are valued. They have their
Mhm.
place. If everybody was on board, then maybe we would miss something.
Right.
Maybe we'd miss an opportunity somewhere to get better if somebody wasn't trying to point out every single thing that
Sure.
that we didn't have a solution for. I think that some ways to help improve that morale and how the vision ties into that is our principal and academic dean try to acknowledge individuals through emails, faculty
Mhm.
meetings, have them stand up if your group did something. Try to give them that recognition. It seems trivial at times, and sometimes people don't realize
very
what
important.
that means. But the person who doesn't get called, it
Mhm.
means a lot to them.
Right.
For the
Right.
people who win all the time and they get it, and you tell them to stand up and wave. Sometimes they feel like, oh well, let's just stand up and wave. But
Right.
don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it one day.
Sure.
Find you 6 weeks of not giving that little praise or that
Right.
kudos and that little thing that you think is just, and they'll even tell you, oh no, it's nothing. You don't have to do that. Well, don't do it and watch what happens.
Right. We all
It's
need a
gonna be
smile and a pat on the back. We do.
It's going to be a different ball game.
No matter what anyone says.
Administrators who supervise each content area, they have their different ways of celebrating things with their own departments. I'm big on writing notes. I send thank you
Okay.
notes to my team, something handwritten. Before school every year, I try to make sure that I, break in their room the night before, leave a little something to say, hey, about to start the
Gotcha.
year. Congratulations, glad to have you back, and let's get to it. Calling people in just to have regular conversation.
Right.
Does a tremendous amount to alleviate a lot of things
Yeah.
that could be out there swirling.
Not about
If you just-
negativity.
You just have them come on
right.
in. Have them come on in, and if you got something to say or you want to talk, just come on in.
Right.
Now we do that a lot. We do that a lot with our department. I try to make sure that every few weeks that I've talked to everyone.
Right. Well, again, we say this, it's still about building relationships. From administrators to teachers and teachers to students, it's all about communication and building relationships.
And that's it. With this whole deal, we had a little situation with a move for me earlier this year. And so people have asked me, well, it's off subject, but my mom saw some of the stuff. She saw some of the videos and that. And she was like, I didn't think that happened in real life. I thought that was just some stuff off of TV that, all these kids would get together, do
Yeah.
something like that.
Sure.
And, have a video made and all
Awesome.
these things. She didn't understand that happened. So a lot of people have come in and out since then and kind of said, well, what do you think it is? Well, one of the big things is just treating people with respect.
Right. Right.
Just treating them with respect. It sounds simple, but people don't understand what you've got to think about what you're about to say. How would you feel with that same information presented to you in the same format?
Right.
These kids won't tell you that they had me out there yelling at them or making them feel bad or talking down to them or anything
Sure.
like that. It's hey, I've got a job to do. If you make a bad decision, there's going to be consequences that come with it.
Right.
But we talk about that versus me, just
Right.
trying to lay into them to think that by degrading them, it's going to somehow make this a better
Right.
situation. It's a
Right.
bad situation regardless.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Now let's see
It's
how we
already
can move
been
on
bad.
for it.
Right.
So
Well, good. Appreciate you,
Thank you,
greatly,
sir.
Mr. Jillings, and that works for me.
We're good. Thank you. Yes, again, my name is Coach Pete Gareri. I'm the athletic coordinator and head football coach at Baytown Sterling High School in the Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District. This part of the participation video for option one is going to be the directions for the post-activity reflection video. So I'm going to be going over and reflecting upon what happened during the interviews, as well as talk a little bit about the morale based upon the campus vision at our school. This is taken from our Sterling Vision of Excellence. It's the Sterling learning community will continue to have the high expectations for everyone as we prepare students to become productive citizens. We know that opportunities are limitless when we live our school motto, attitude is everything. We look forward to working with you to help students to achieve their dreams. The you, of course, are everyone involved, all stakeholders. The mission statement that we have here at Sterling High School is Rosseth Sterling High School provides the opportunity for all students to achieve their maximum potential so that they may grow academically and socially in a rigorous yet caring learning environment. The main goal, or one of the main goals about it for our campus vision, is that of college readiness. And so that is a very, very important part of our school and the school culture, is that everyone understands that we are trying to not only make productive citizens in society and life here in the future, but also getting these students and student athletes and everyone involved ready for college. So college readiness is one of the key points in our campus vision. For the first question, again, we as the assistant athletic coordinator, Coach Greg Smith, who's also our head basketball coach, as well as myself, interviewed two different people. One is the CTE specialist, career technology education specialist, Michelle Duhan, here on our campus. And then the second interview was with Mr. Michael Curl, who's our assistant head principal. He's actually the assistant principal over our seniors. Very thought of very well at this school and going on to do bigger and better things, I'm sure, here in the near future. But again, two very, very competent people that really strive to make the climate and culture of our campus a great place here at Sterling. For the first question that states, how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision? You know, for the most part, the vision needs to be made sure that it is promoted in our school. And it is. We do have PLC time of professional learning communities to where the vision is explored, talked about, the exact mandates from the head principal he goes over. The issue that we talked about was that the lack of faculty meetings due to PLC time and instructional minutes. The PLC time is used definitely for meetings, department meetings, content specialist meetings, assistant principal meetings with the content specialist and the department meetings. So therefore, the faculty meetings as an entire staff don't take place as much as they have in the past here because of PLC being built into the school day on Friday with our modified block schedule where the students have early release. But as far as that question goes, with how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision? The PLC time collaboration with people. The morale here, I believe, is not perfect. It's not great. The recognition of teachers needs to be, I think, demonstrated a lot more with recognizing and celebrating those who implement the strategies of the campus vision. I do know that the teachers are recognized at certain times, but it seems to be the exact same teachers. So again, as a consensus for both Michelle Duhan and Michael Curl and myself, as well as Coach Greg Smith, the assistant athletic coordinator, kind of came to the census that the morale is high with some, but it's low with others, and not everyone is being recognized for the things that they do here. So we as administrators need to make sure that we are looking at everyone, making sure that we are taking care of everyone, making sure that we are patting everybody on the back, because teachers need to be recognized. We want to be recognized as educators. You know, the selfless things that we do in education in the classroom, a lot of times, again, of course, go unnoticed. But teachers want to have, given that a boy and things like that, and a pat on the back. So again, we need to do a better job here about recognizing those things. The second question, how are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and the community? Like I mentioned, our faculty meetings are rare because of PLC time and instructional minutes. The staff and teachers, and this comes from the administration building, not necessarily for just our campus. We are a multi-school district with 3 campuses, so therefore it's not just us, calling the shots. It's not just completely site-based. So the administration at the administration building, the higher level people actually, talk about and set the instruction and some of the agendas for our PLC or professional learning communities, where we break up amongst our disciplines or our content specialist departments with the assistant principals in charge of those disciplines. But through PLC meetings, through parent meetings, a lot of the campus vision and the contributions and achievements of the teachers are getting done. Mr. Curl, as well as myself, Mr. Curl is actually over athletics too. So we do a lot of things athletically. Myself as the athletic coordinator, making sure that teachers are recognized, achievements for students and staff and community don't go unnoticed. I make sure, I have a great rapport with the newspaper, with the editor of the paper, especially in the sports section. But we get everything we can into the local community newspaper here called the Baytown Sun, for everything that our students do, everything our teachers do, everything that we do in the community. So those things don't go unnoticed. We make sure that we try and give accolades to everyone, and we try and promote it into the school as well as into, everyone's using iPads now. Our students are given iPads. So therefore we talk about portals and portal setups to where teachers can see things, to where students can see their own portal, as well as parents can go home and see the portal. Another great thing, the thing that we do is our website. Our website is phenomenal. We have a website person here on campus that takes care of the Sterling High School things that could encompass anything on our school, as well as administration has a website too. So our website is very good, again, for all three schools. Excuse me, you can go to the GCC or Goose Creek Consolidated ISD website. You can look at the vision of the district as well as the vision of the campuses, and of course you can click on departments for all campuses, departments for administrators, things like that. And that also promotes our vision, our excellence, the things that happen with our students, with our teachers, with our community, for athletics, extracurricular activities, things in the classroom, UIL for contests, for academics and athletics, and all of that is promoted as well. For the third question, how does the campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? We talked about using technology. Both Michelle Duhan, the CTE specialist, as well as Michael Curl, the assistant principal for seniors, talked about engaging students and what do we have to do to have innovative thinking. And a lot of it came down to, number one, relationships with the students, building those relationships, not being standoffish, as well as making sure that you are using technological advances and things like that in the classroom, new techniques, new teaching techniques. We talked about collaboration, effective communication, trying and willing to learn new things. There are teachers that are still set in their ways in this profession and won't change and still do it the same way they've done for the last 15, 20 years. And then there are teachers that want to change. There are new teachers that need mentors. So as we talk about risk-taking, we need to find new ways, innovative techniques to do things differently, and as well as looking at the failures and promoting the campus vision. For college readiness, everything is data-driven. Mr. Curl, our senior principal, talked a lot about data. As going through this master's program, I've learned a lot about the accountability report and summary report for our school and looking at data in subgroups or sub-pops. So it's very important that a lot of the things that we do and the techniques that we use and the type of teaching that we do in the classroom needs to be data-driven. So that is the thing that we need to look at with failures for teaching and reteaching as well. The last question we asked was about how does the campus vision impact morale? We believe that the campus vision impacts morale, but it's everything. Both the interviewees that we talked about, that we talked with, as well as myself and the assistant athletic coordinator, Greg Smith, we mentioned about it's more than just the campus vision and how it impacts morale. It's everything. It's culture. It's the community. It's the type of kids that we have here. So the vision is very important. We have to make sure that we are all, and we came to the consensus that we're all leading in that vision of college readiness. Number one, the key, making productive citizens in society. And with college readiness goes, AP classes, dual credit. So there's many, many things that encompass being college ready. But as far as the impact of morale goes, it does impact morale, but there's many other things that impact morale as well. So there's other things that, we have to do in this school, not just dealing with the campus vision, But the vision has got to be laid out by the leader of the campus, which is our head principal, which has to, of course, come down from the administration building, being a multi-school campus as well, or district as well. But as far as the morale goes, our morale is getting better. The campus vision is very well clearly stated. The teachers need to keep hearing that vision. I believe that one of the things we talked about again in these interviews is that because of the lack of faculty meetings as a staff, that we're not all together all of the time to look at each other, to talk about the campus vision on a personal level, on a one-on-one level. So we're just doing this in groups and disciplines and content specialists with the PLC, our professional learning communities. So how does the campus vision impact morale? It impacts morale, but everything impacts morale. We have to make sure that we're all being taken care of by the leader of the campus, and that's our principal. And we talked about the campus vision has got to be stated by, number one, the district, brought down to the leader of the campus, which is the head principal, and then the assistant principals, and then it goes down there as the chain of command. So the vision is very, very important. As far as myself being the athletic coordinator for college readiness, I'm all about SAT, ACT scores, preparing kids for college in that way. Make sure they take SAT, ACT prep classes, understand how to do homework. I've incorporated an action research project that talks about a study hall and tutorial period during our athletic period at this school that has done very well, has increased our grades for the 6 weeks for passing rates at our school. So again, getting kids to the college level, teaching them how to do homework, teaching them how to prepare their time and manage their time. So college readiness and how it impacts morale. As the school gets better, as passing rates go up, morale will get better. So again, morale and campus vision needs to go hand in hand, but it needs to come from the direction of the campus principal and making sure that the principal gives that vision to the assistant principals, and that the head principal and the assistant principals are making sure that the teachers know what the campus vision is and are promoting that in the classrooms as well as outside of the classrooms during meetings and things like that, so that they can make sure that that is being done. And again, that will help morale. I believe this interview process and this participation video went very well. I think the questions were perfect. We brainstormed and we got off topic a little bit, but again, when we talk about morale and leadership, I think the underlying theme about this is effective communication. Effective communication, collaboration. I think I've learned over the years, this is my 23rd year as a teacher and a coach, is that effective communication, collaboration, and the number one word, communication, is the most important thing that we do. It's about building relationships with students. It's about building relationships with other teachers, staff members, collaborating, always willing to learn. And so therefore, the morale of the campus can go up as these things take place. Thank you very much.